Hi there, it's Mark Wickersham here, author and speaker, and in this video I want to share with you some of the biggest mistakes, 9 of them, that I see accountants and bookkeepers making. So use this as a checklist to make sure you're not making these mistakes. So here we go, here's our 9 mistakes. Number 1 is, as a profession, we are way too cheap, incredibly cheap. Our prices are too low. It's why we're working crazy long hours and not making the money that we deserve. So the first mistake is we're too cheap. We have to rectify that by putting our prices up. Second mistake is copying the competition. This is crazy because most accountants are too cheap, most bookkeepers are too cheap, and yet when we try to win new business, we look at what the competitors are charging and use that as a basis. But if they're too cheap, then it's crazy to copy them. But all too often, that's exactly what we do. We will, if it's a prospective client that we're trying to win them from another bookkeeper, another accountant, we usually do everything we can to try and find out what is it they're paying their current professional right now, and then we'll use that number as the starting point for coming up with our price. And sometimes we compound that error by going in at a lower price, which is crazy when we think about it, because why are they talking to you? Because there's something about their current accountant or bookkeeper they are not happy with. So we should be more expensive than the existing accountant. The third mistake is putting prices on a website. I worry about this. It's an increasing trend in the profession of putting prices. And I think it's because of this misconception that fixed pricing and value pricing are the same thing, and they're not. Fixed pricing is very often the way it's done. Fixed pricing is just another form of cost plus pricing. We shouldn't put prices on a website because I ask people, well, why do you do that? And they tell me, well, I want to put the prices on there to win more business. Okay, so are you going to win more business by having high prices on your website or low prices? And I'm always told, well, low prices, of course. If I put high prices on my website, nobody will ever contact me. Okay, so we put low prices on a website. What that does is that attracts the wrong type of client. That attracts the price buyer, the people that want to shop on price. If you want to get better prices, higher prices, if you want a price based on value, you have to have a conversation with the customer. Number 4, pricing based on the hour. We have to stop doing that. Time-based billing is crazy. It's crazy for a whole host of reasons, but the first one, and probably the only one that really matters, I think, is the fact that it's not fair on the customer. The customer doesn't know. We know from research that customers hate not knowing the price right up front, and yet that's what we get with pricing based on the hour. The customer doesn't know until the work's finished and the timesheets are printed out and the hours added up, and then we present a bill. It's always a surprise. It's a shock. Some people call it ambush billing. Customers hate it. So for no other reason, we should certainly stop doing it. There are many, many other reasons, of course, as well, but customers hate it. Another one linked to that is quoting hourly rates. That is mad. And you'll know this if you've ever done it. If you ever give somebody your hourly rate, they always say, that's expensive. And the reason for that is because there's no value in an hourly rate. Nobody sees the value in that. Nobody comes to you to buy an hour of your time. But what happens is when you give that number, we learn from price psychology is that at a subconscious level up here, when we're customers, we always make comparisons. We want to compare prices with something else to see if it's a good price, a bad price, about right. So if you quote an hourly rate, then the customer's mind is going to go away and compare it with something else. Usually, almost every time, something that's less. They'll compare it to the amount they pay their secretary, their receptionist, the cleaner, the gardener that comes and sorts out their garden. It doesn't matter what it is, they'll compare it to somebody else they pay an hourly rate, and it's likely to be something that's lower number than your number, and therefore they'll see it as being too high. Next mistake is charging everybody the same price. You see, it's a fact of life that everybody values things differently. No two people place the same value on something. It's one of the challenges of value pricing. But nevertheless, we have to deal with that. We have to figure out a way of charging different customers different prices. Next mistake is not giving a definitive price in writing. it kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Customers hate surprises. They want to know right up front what is the price. So we have to do that. We can't be vague about it. A mistake I made many, many years ago when I ran my accounting firm, I used to kind of bottle out a little bit because I would rather give a fixed price, I'd give a range. I'd say it's going to be between 200 and 300. And that's just crazy, because what happens is when you say, for example, a range of prices, then and the customer agrees, if you say, let's say between 200 and 300, then you go away thinking, the client's happy if it's 300. But the client's going away because they've remembered up here the 200. They remember the lower number. So when you then do the work and then afterwards send your bill for 300, then you are very likely to have a fee dispute. So make sure it's a clear, definitive price, and make sure it's in writing so there is no dispute later. Next is avoiding payment terms. You see, payment terms are part of the pricing equation, as price and payment terms are integrally linked together. And so we must make sure that when we are communicating and giving a definite price, we also are very, very clear on exactly what the payment terms are. So there's no disputes, there's no uncertainty around that. And finally, last one is we are, as a profession, accountants, bookkeepers, we are not very good at communicating the benefits of what we do. It's why we find so often when we present a price, the client says, that's a bit expensive. And the main reason for that is because they don't understand the value. They don't understand the benefit of what we do. And so they've only got price to judge, and that's a number, and it will seem a big number when they don't understand what it's compared against, what is the benefit. We have to become better at explaining what we do, why we do it, the pain that we're taking away, and the benefit to the customer. So they are the 9 biggest mistakes. Please don't make those. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy this video, please click the like button. You'll also find I've got some free stuff for you. I do regular training sessions every single month online. And so below this video somewhere, you'll see some links to some free resources from me. So grab those and I'll see you online sometime again. Bye for now.